Let me be brutally honest about something most women will never say out loud. The right kind of hug can create a deeper, more visceral sense of arousal than most kisses ever will. I have consulted with women who completely reevaluated their relationships, who questioned their attraction to their current partners, all because of a single brief embrace from another man, a deliberate shift in how he held her, and suddenly, her brain couldn't let him go. The average man's hug is like a handshake, polite, procedural, and instantly forgotten. It communicates friendship, and that's precisely why it extinguishes desire. But the man who understands the neurobiology of touch doesn't just hug her, he leaves a neurological echo in her system. He creates a sensation her logical mind can't define, but her body can't deny. I am Dr. Sarah Whitman, and today we're decoding the science of that touch. By the end of this video, you will learn a specific adjustment to your posture and one critical point of contact that can completely change how she perceives you. If you're ready to learn this deeper form of communication, type the word hug in the comments below. Excellent. Let's proceed. The forgettable hug fails because it operates on a social script. It's an act of platonic validation. The quick squeeze, the pat on the back, these are signals that close a loop. They say, "This is non-threatening. We are friends." This actively signals to her nervous system to remain in a state of friendly, alert awareness, not intimate relaxation. The hug that creates an echo does the exact opposite. Its purpose is to intentionally break the social script. It must communicate calm, masculine control, and unwavering presence. And here's the scientific reason most men get it wrong. They believe attraction is built on action and intensity. It's not. Primal attraction is built on stillness and intention. A hurried, uncertain touch signals anxiety. A calm, grounded touch signals authority and safety, which is the prerequisite for arousal. The framework we will use is called the somatic imprint. Somatic means relating to the body. The goal is not to persuade her mind, but to leave a lasting physical memory, a sensory data point that her body will recall long after the moment is over. This framework stands on 3 pillars: tempo, stillness, and anchor point. And in just a moment, I will show you the one anchor point on her body that acts as a neurological shortcut, shifting her perception of you from safe friend to potential lover in under 5 seconds. Let's do a quick reset. This entire technique is effective because of 3 elements: a deliberate tempo, absolute stillness, and a strategic anchor point. Let's decode each one. First, tempo. And here's the speed mistake that instantly neutralizes any potential attraction: moving at a conversational pace. Friendly energy is quick, dominant, intentional energy is unhurried. By initiating the hug 25% slower than is socially normal, you interrupt her expectations and command her full attention. Second, stillness, and a single misplaced word here will shatter the entire illusion. Once in the embrace, you do not speak, you do not pat, you simply exist and breathe. This deliberate lack of social feedback forces her brain to switch from analytical mode to sensory mode. It triggers a parasympathetic response, which is the only state where the body can feel both profoundly safe and sexually receptive simultaneously. Now for the most potent element, the anchor point. Most men instinctively place their hands high on the back or shoulders. This is the anatomical equivalent of the friend zone. To create a somatic imprint, your dominant hand must find its anchor lower, specifically on the lumbar curve of her lower back. This location is a biological sweet spot. It's non-invasive, yet deeply intimate. Placing a firm, warm hand there communicates support and possession simultaneously. It's a gesture of protective dominance that her primal brain is wired to understand and respond to. Let's distill this into a single, powerful directive. Here is your imprint protocol. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Slow down, stay silent, and anchor your hand on her lower back. Focus on mastering just this one sequence. From the case studies I've analyzed, this precise anchor point is the detail women consistently recall with a sense of surprise and intrigue, even weeks later. Let me be clear, this is not about learning a trick. This is about learning a language, the language of nonverbal masculine presence. In a society that is increasingly disconnected, the ability to create a moment of grounded, silent connection is not just attractive. It's a profound gift. This is about embodying a calm confidence that makes a woman feel both protected and desired in the same breath, a polarity that is the very essence of powerful attraction. Your actions communicate your inner state far more loudly than your words, so I invite you to make a commitment to intentional action. Type ready in the comments below. If you're committed to communicating from a place of calm confidence, if this framework gave you a new perspective, please hit that subscribe button for more science-based insights into human connection. And finally, share this video with a man who you know has a good heart, but whose physical presence doesn't yet match the strength of his character. When a touch is merely polite, it stays confined to the neocortex, the thinking, evaluating, categorizing part of the brain. She registers it, labels it, and moves on. Nothing lingers, nothing echoes. But when a touch carries intention, stillness, and grounded presence, it bypasses conscious filtering entirely. It speaks directly to the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion, memory, and attachment. And once an experience is encoded there, it is no longer a thought. It becomes a feeling, and feelings do not require justification. This is why women often struggle to explain why a certain man feels different. They will say things like, "I don't know what it is about him," or "he just makes me feel safe," or "there's something grounding about him." These are not vague statements. They are precise descriptions of a nervous system response. Her body has detected coherence, calm authority, and presence, and it has responded exactly as it is designed to respond. Now, let's go deeper, because understanding this at an intellectual level is not enough. You must embody it. An embodiment begins with awareness of your own internal state before you ever touch another human being. Most men approach physical contact while internally fragmented. Their mind is racing, their breathing is shallow, their attention is scattered between outcome, approval, and self-monitoring. And even if they execute the external mechanics correctly, the body always transmits the truth of the internal state. Touch amplifies whatever is already present inside you. Anxiety becomes palpable. Neediness becomes perceptible. Hesitation becomes contagious. This is why two men can perform the exact same action and produce radically different effects. Before the hug ever begins, your first responsibility is regulation. You must settle yourself. Drop your breath into your abdomen. Slow your heart rate. Feel your weight through your feet. This is not performance. This is alignment. When your nervous system is regulated, her nervous system can entrain to yours. This is a biological phenomenon called co-regulation. The calmer and more grounded system naturally becomes the leader. Leadership in this context is not dominance through force. It is dominance through stability. This is the quality that creates attraction without effort, because it removes uncertainty. And the human nervous system craves certainty above almost everything else. Let's address a critical misconception at this point, because some men hearing this framework immediately think in terms of manipulation. They worry about doing something to her. That framing is precisely what destroys the effect. The somatic imprint is not about extracting a response. It is about offering a state. You are not trying to make her feel something. You are allowing her to feel what is already present when she is with you. Think of it this way. You are not imposing a sensation. You are removing noise. When you slow down, when you become still, when you anchor with intention, you create a container. Within that container, her body finally has permission to exhale. And when the body exhales, sensation amplifies. This is also why consent and attunement are non-negotiable. A grounded man does not impose. He invites, he pays attention. He notices micro-responses, the way her body leans in, the way her breath changes, the way tension melts or remains. Presence without sensitivity becomes intrusion. Presence with attunement becomes intimacy. Now, let's talk about duration, because this is another area where men sabotage themselves. The echo hug is not long. It does not linger into awkwardness. It lasts just long enough to register as different. Typically, this is between 3 and 5 seconds, long enough for the nervous system to shift states, short enough to leave space for curiosity. Remember, the goal is not saturation, it is imprint. An imprint works precisely because it is incomplete. The body registers something meaningful, but the mind does not get closure. And what the mind cannot close, it returns to, again and again. This is why weeks later, she remembers the way your hand felt on her lower back. This is why she recalls the silence. This is why she replays the moment without consciously choosing to. The experience was not resolved cognitively, it was stored somatically. Now let's expand this concept beyond the hug itself, because once you understand the principles, you will see that they apply to all forms of connection. Tempo, stillness, and intentional contact are not limited to physical touch. They are ways of moving through the world, how you enter a room, how you pause before speaking, how you listen without interrupting, how you hold eye contact without demanding anything from it. All of these behaviors signal the same thing: internal coherence. A man who rushes speaks from his head, a man who is still speaks from his center, and women are exquisitely sensitive to this difference, even if they have never been taught to articulate it. Let's also address the cultural conditioning that works against this. Modern socialization trains men to fill space, to entertain, to explain, to perform. Silence is framed as awkward, stillness is framed as passive, slowness is framed as weakness. In reality, the opposite is true. Silence is only awkward when it is empty. Stillness is only passive when it lacks intention. Slowness is only weak when it is driven by fear. When silence is grounded, it becomes magnetic. When stillness is deliberate, it becomes authoritative. When slowness is chosen, it becomes dominant. This is the paradox at the heart of masculine presence. The less you try to create an effect, the stronger the effect becomes. Now, I want to speak directly to the men who are skeptical. The ones who say, "This sounds abstract," or "This won't work for me," or "I'm not that kind of guy." Good. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about removing what you are not. You do not need a different personality. You do not need lines. You do not need strategies. You need nervous system literacy, because attraction is not a negotiation, it is a resonance. When two instruments are tuned to the same frequency, vibration transfers effortlessly. When they are not, no amount of force can create harmony. Your work, then, is tuning, and the hug is simply one of the clearest, fastest ways to feel whether you are tuned or not. If you rush, if you fidget, if you feel compelled to speak, notice that. That information is valuable. It tells you where your own discomfort lives, and that is where your growth begins. This brings us to responsibility. With great sensitivity comes great responsibility. A man who can create deep somatic impact must also be a man of integrity, because the body trusts faster than the mind, and trust without integrity leads to harm. The goal of this work is not conquest, it is congruence. To be the same man in private as you are in public. To let your touch match your values. To ensure that the safety you communicate somatically is real, not performative. When that alignment exists, your presence becomes healing rather than destabilizing. And yes, that is attractive. But more importantly, it is honorable. Let's talk briefly about context, because timing matters. This is not something you deploy indiscriminately. Context determines receptivity. Emotional openness, relational familiarity, and situational appropriateness all matter. A grounded man reads the room. He does not force moments. He recognizes when the moment has already arrived. Often, the most powerful hugs occur at transitions. A greeting, a farewell, a moment of vulnerability, a shared success, a quiet pause. These are liminal spaces, moments where the nervous system is already open to imprinting. When you bring presence into these spaces, the effect multiplies. Now, let me leave you with something deeper than technique. At the core of this entire framework is a simple truth. The body is starved for safe, grounded connection. In a world of constant stimulation, distraction, and performance, stillness has become rare, and whatever is rare becomes valuable. When you offer a woman a moment where she does not have to perform, impress, or manage, where she can simply feel, you offer her something profoundly restorative. That is why it stays with her. That is why it changes how she perceives you. That is why it creates polarity without force. Because at the deepest level, attraction is not about excitement. It is about relief. Relief from tension. Relief from uncertainty. relief from being on all the time, and the man who can create that relief with his presence alone will always stand apart. So take this knowledge slowly. Practice it first with awareness, not ambition. Let your body learn what your mind now understands, and remember, mastery is quiet. The most powerful men in the room are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who know how to stand still, breathe deeply, and let their presence speak for them. Until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and never underestimate the power of a touch that comes from stillness rather than impulse.